Hey, Kyle Querec here, and today we have a very special guest from Los Angeles. He's played with Kenwood Denard, Clark Terry, Brian McKnight, Layla Hathaway. I will stop there. He's known as the Young Professor, which makes sense because he hasn't aged a day in 30 years. He is David C. Cowan, and it's today here on Music Minded. Come on. All right, Dave, question number one. Was there a memory when you were young, when you kind of discovered music, a piece of music, an artist, a place, an instrument, something that happened?
I remember going to my mom when I was a small child. My mom was she was a booking agent.
Oh, okay.
And so she used to book bands, and she was a member of the Musicians Union, and she used to book bands. And I remember going to some rehearsals with her, and the drummer letting me get on the drums. I couldn't play, but
How old were you?
I I don't even remember, 2, 3,
Oh, really young.
very
Okay.
young. Yeah, really young. And uh I remember hearing Johnny B. Good on the radio, and me and my grandfathers, singing
That is
Johnny B.
great.
Good. And actually, because my mom was a booking agent, and it was the late '60s, early '70s, I actually got to meet the Jacksons,
Oh,
like the
come on.
Jackson Five.
When they were
And I was
huge.
I was really young, so they were known, but they weren't like, you know, they became.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. But yeah, I was always just gonna be a musician. Um when I was a kid, I talked about doing a couple of other things for a very short while, but I was really never gonna be anything but a musician.
Was there a moment while you were becoming a musician? You could have been 12, you could have been 18, when it clicked and you said, I'm going to pursue this for the rest of my life. Was it something that definitive of a moment that happened?
There definitely wasn't a moment. It was just that was pretty much it. Like I had a softball summer, uh,
What
where
is that?
because I
What is
was in Cub Scouts, and we were playing softball a lot, and we
Okay.
went to lots of baseball games. Um, and that passed through my imagination, but I wasn't ever really into anything enough to think that I wanted to do anything else for a living. I was really always going to be a musician. Um, my I got I took guitar lessons for a couple of months, and I was about 7, and I don't remember, something happened. I don't remember why I got in trouble, and mom took my guitar. I found the guitar in her closet one day and just took it out of the closet and started messing around with it again. And you couldn't get me out of my room for anything else.
Oh, wow.
Um, I would come home. One Christmas, I got a radio, and it had a radio and a cassette player in it. And one day I figured out that I could actually, the cassette player would record the radio, and it would be a direct signal without a microphone.
Okay.
Right. And so, because before that, I would have to, if I wanted to record stuff off the radio, I'd have to take a tape recorder and set it next to the radio or set it next to the television,
Right,
to
right,
take
right,
a
right. Yeah,
song.
right, right,
But
right, right.
this thing would record direct signal into the tape, and so I'd tape songs from the radio, and I would just sit up and be trying to figure it out, just figure stuff out, or just play the radio and pretend that I was performing a concert in
Right.
front of people, with the broom as my guitar in the basement.
Was there a moment that you had your first great gig? It could have been at school, or it could have been when you're touring with someone, or it could have been in the studio where you felt like you've arrived. And I don't mean that in any kind of proud way. I mean that you were doing it long enough. It was with someone important enough. It was a gig and music that you liked enough that it kind of, you just had a moment where you thought, wow, it's happening.
I tell you what, I was home for a summer, and so I got a job at the catering service. They called me. I worked my first day on a Saturday. It was terrible. These people were mean.
Oh,
And then the next day, this guy, Frank, called me. He's like, man, I got a bunch of gigs in town for the next couple of months, and I want you to play in my band. There's a singer named Frank McComb. He sings and plays piano.
okay.
He's amazing. If you haven't heard him, you should check him out. But he had a
Absolutely.
first album that came out on Sony, I think, and Branford Marsalis produced the album.
Oh, wow.
But it's an
Okay.
R&B album. It's a great record. And I was like, sweet. So
Yeah.
so the people from the catering service call me like later that day and they're like, "Hey, we've got a party. We need you to work." I'm like, "Well, guess what? I quit." He's like, "I thought you really needed a job." And I said, "I did. But now I have I've got a bunch of gigs."
Here's a question. You got to throw me a hell gig. Something where, your sound, you couldn't hear anybody, or you were late, or there's got to be a couple, one or two, where you just wanted to hide somewhere that we can laugh
Mhm.
about now.
Um, oh my gosh.
I know you look like you're being anointed, man.
No.
That's awesome.
There have been so many hell gigs that I mean, I
Just one that of note that you can, that you tell once in a while.
I was home for the summer and these people they called my friend Daryl that I was telling you about,
Right.
and they needed a band for this show that they were doing New Year's Eve. It was me and Daryl. Um, I don't remember who else was in that band, but anyway, these singers they came over to Daryl's house so that we could rehearse. And first of all, they all smelled bad. And the whole house smelled
Oh,
like a bad onion pizza.
oh, dude,
like
with
like
patchouli?
armpits. It was terrible. And you know, we rehearsed with them a couple of times, and then we did our New Year's Eve. We got to the New Year's Eve gig. I didn't have to bring drums, but the host drummer, he had this huge drum set, and he must have been he was really tall, and I'm only 5'6", and the guy had his cymbals so high that I literally missed the crash cymbal a couple of times because it was so high up, and they wouldn't let me adjust anything, and we played the gig, and the music was you know blah. It was, and then at the end of it, the guy gave me $30.
This question can hit everybody differently, and it's very general sounding, but what does the future hold for music?
I was worried that there wouldn't be much good music, people would stop playing instruments. But that's not true. What I'm finding is there are a lot of really good young
Yeah.
musicians and really good players.
Yeah.
Um, and there's some really great musicians making great music. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of that isn't the most popular music.
Right. 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 Yeah.
But there's always I think there's always going to be music, and there's going to be good music for people that want it. But the state of like popular music, but nowadays it's like everything is about the same stuff and none of it's good.
Yeah. That's a
It's
good point.
it's 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 all it's like it's the I feel like the whole industry is just songs about hedonism.
Yeah. Well, it's true, man. And I think it's always been that way, but it's just, and not to sound like an old man, it's just gotten a little dark like all the time.
Yeah, I
All the
mean,
time.
that's what I mean. Like everything is that now. It's
Yeah.
like everything is one thing. And there's still a little bit of sort of your classic pop song, like love pop songs.
Right. Right.
And every once in a while, somebody will actually have something different to say. But, a lot of it is lyrics. Like, I'm just like, man, people don't have anything better to talk about anymore. They're not really. I want to hear songs that make me inspired to wake up. And if I decide to listen to the lyrics, I want the lyrics to move me to do something.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know, to do something with my life.
I heard you at 19, and at 19 you sounded amazing. Your 2 and 4 was just killing. But so this might be more of a mental thing or a networking thing. I don't know. But what would you say to a 20-year-old, 22-year-old young Dave C. Cowan? What would you say to him if you could right now?
I hated the idea of, even though there was a lot of music I liked that used drum machines and
Sure.
programming.
Oh yeah.
I hated the idea of doing that, particularly like in a live setting. In fact, my first big gig I lost because I really just didn't want to do playing to sequencers and stuff like that. They wanted to use a sequencer on the show, and I was like, why are we going to do that?
Right.
Do people really want to go to the show and hear the song exactly like the record? Is that really what people want?
Wow.
But and I didn't learn how to program a drum machine or anything like that, and so now it's kind of catch up. I'm doing
Right.
everything now, but I was sort of behind. I wish I had embraced the technology a little bit more. So I would just say, just be open. I tend to be a little bit of a homebody.
Right.
Um, but you got to get out there. Half the time you'll get gigs just because people know you. Not even necessarily because you're the best cat.
Right.
It's because you're there.
I would like to know your top 3 desert island albums, and then
Three.
your top 3 drummers. I know that's really tough. If you want, we'll do what Mark Owen did. I'll give you jazz, rock, and R&B for drummers. If you want to do it that way. If it's too hard to do 3 of, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I know I'm putting you to work. So here we go. So top 3 rock drummers.
Top three rock drummers. Bonham,
Yes, sir.
Watts,
Oh, nice.
and Tommy Aldridge.
Wow, wow, that is vast. I love it. We're gonna get back to those. Okay, is it because of the Watts big band stuff? Did you really love that stuff too?
No, I just loved the way he played with the Rolling Stones.
He is his time, man, is fantastic. All right, great. Okay, that's for rock. What do you got? What do you have for jazz? Straight ahead.
Blakey,
Excellent.
um, Billy Joe Jones,
Yes, sir. The best ever.
and then I've got Haynes and Elvin tied for third. Really, primary influences. Um, Larry Blackman from Cameo,
Oh, okay.
Jerome Braley from P Funk,
Okay.
and Steve Gadd.
Give me top 3 desert island albums.
Yellow Jackets,
Oh man.
Mirage à Toi is the name of the album.
All right.
Um,
Number 2.
Donny Hathaway, Extensions of a Man.
All right. Wow. Very nice.
Todd Rundgren, Second Wind.
Ask you 3 topics and you pick one that you like to select from: food, sports, or travel.
Travel.
Oh, okay. Um, think about you're going to have 3 of the greatest gigs. You know the players, you know the music, you even know the venues because you know where you're going. What cities or towns would they be?
New York, because I want to play Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Sure you do. Sure you do.
um, Tokyo, because I love Japan.
Okay, there you go. Those are 2 huge cities. What's number 3?
Rio de Janeiro, because I've never been to Brazil and I want to go to Brazil.
Number 9. Number 9.
Have you finished something recently? Is there something upcoming, something that you can talk about? We'll absolutely have some links below where they can find you and your credits, which are many, I will say. But anything going on right now?
Played in a band called One Tribe Nation. We put out a record called We Are the One, and it's been, what year is this? It's been 8, 9 years since that record came out, but we just recently started playing again.
Oh, cool.
So, and the guitarist Michael Sanders, we've been working on another record. Rod Stewart did that series of Great American Songbook.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm in a band with a bunch of guys that played on those records.
Oh, sweet.
And so we're performing all those. We're performing those songs, and we're called GASP, the Great American Songbook Players.
I'm so grateful that you came on. I met you when you were like 18 or 19,
Right.
and I saw you with the Click. And I'm serious. I was 18 or 19, and I know I was impressionable, but you guys destroyed the Berkeley Performance Center. Thanks for doing this, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks,
Take
bro.
care.
Wasn't it wonderful to have David Cowan on the show today? A great guy and one of the best 2 and 4 grooves you have ever heard. We'll have some links below where you can find his stuff and hear his music. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kyle Querec. It was Music Minded. Have a great day.
Put some music on, Music Minded. Now I don't care where you are from, I don't know what you have done. I just see the sadness dripping from everyone, pleading from now. Please put some music on, Music Minded. Do you mind if we listen? Give a try, go with it. Pleading from now, please put some music on, Music Minded. Music Minded.
A little revolution now and then is a healthy thing, don't you think?